What's good, everybody? You know what time it is? It is time for Elevated Vibes on IntellectualRadio.com, a iHeart radio station. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a good minute, but we are back.
Don't call it a comeback.
Ooh. Hey, just keep with us because we got surprises for you. But it's my boy,
Boss man, glad to be back in the studio. Been around the world, and I can find my baby.
There you go.
And Tim.
That's right. And I'm your boy Abdul Rashid. This is Elevated Vibes. Let's get it started, folks. All right, y'all, check it out. I know y'all probably know this name very well. That's been going through the news. Jeffrey Epstein.
Now, why you gonna bring that up? Because Obama was mentioning it, and and Oprah and Beyonce, they weren't mentioning it, but they should be charged with crimes too. Doing what they doing, spending their money on the campaign and stuff.
It is sad that this dude is trying his best to deflect everything that runs back to him.
I mean,
him and his boy.
This is Playboy.
You know what I'm saying?
No, that's not his boy. Remember, they had a falling out. They've had a falling out because Epstein hired away workers. That he wasn't gonna pay anyway. To they just said, well, we know your history. At least we know this man gonna pay.
This is true though. I mean, and the funny thing, and I was hearing about this, is that the way where Mar-a-Lago sits, if you go over the hill, it's like a very poor neighborhood, and that's where most of the workers came from.
Wow.
I literally just found that out today.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But what we're looking at, folks, is should the Dems be more, on their throats about this? Let me hear you, Tim. Talk to us.
Well, to that question, I would say definitely not, because if there is a list that is involved, I'm sure it's a lot of Democrats on that list too. They don't want to try to.
No.
Yeah, I don't think they're prepared to actually see who's on that list, because you know what, they had the opportunity to go and reveal the list when Barack Obama was the president or Joe Biden was the president. They didn't take out that list then. So I'm thinking maybe you got Clinton on that list.
I mean, it's possible. Epstein knew a number of people. I'm not going to sit here and act like he did not. But he through Microsoft, which that, if I'm right, that dissolved his marriage.
Yes. Bill Gates.
Yes.
William Gates.
Yes. And also he was friends with a bunch of royalty as well.
Yeah.
From Norway, from, of course, Britain.
Older brother.
Yeah. And and
Philip. Is that Philip? Oh, that was the king. I can't remember the brother. Edward.
Okay, yeah, because I'm like, I don't remember. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Edward.
So I mean, yeah, it's gonna be a number of people on that list, but because the Republicans made a big deal of this. See, at least the Democrats at that time, they talked about it, they convicted the man, they convicted his girl, and they kind of shut up. While you had Republicans screaming bloody murder all through the halls and everything else. Now it's coming back to bite you. You got your own people having issues with you now.
Well, they're trying to be they supposedly are the party of family values, right? So I don't think they
do have Matt Gaetz in there, right?
Oh yeah, right, exactly.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be able to claim that title anymore after this. But
y'all keep forgetting, these people establish rules only to break them. They don't care.
Definitely,
they don't care. Like y'all remember the famous McConnell rule? Like a couple of months out, you can't do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hillary. Should have been burnt at the stake for having a computer at home, but my man can go out and give war plans over an unsecured network, not once, not twice, but as now we know, about 3 times.
Yeah.
Bringing his wife into meetings that are top secret. So,
and then he had a hissy fit because he got caught.
That's what I'm telling y'all. They don't care.
I mean, he was putting people through lie detector tests.
It doesn't seem like they care.
They were doing the lie detector test to figure out who was ratting them out to the press. So, we're not concerned with our actions. We're more concerned with catching the people who have turned us in for our actions. Mm-hmm. So, at this point, let's just say the gloves are off. All right. So the Democrats should release the list and say, Democrats, whoever on it, bad on you. Yes, that's bad. But what the Republicans did was a lot worse.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the strategy. You know what I'm saying? Because at least, you should say you shouldn't be a child pedophile. Right. And we can always point to Matt Gaetz and say, y'all didn't even kick him out. Right. So, yeah, and I also don't want us to make the same mistake that they are making on the other side. Association is not guilt. That's what they're trying to do with the deportations of people. They're talking about, well, you got this many points, because if you appeared in a picture with a gang member, you got this points. If you got gang tattoos, none of them know what gang tattoos are.
Right.
But if you got gang tattoos, you got this point. Your president to this day, it's just absolutely mind-boggling why Terry Moran didn't hold his feet to the fire, was holding a doctored picture of my man from Maryland, right? It was doctored, and it was a poor doctoring, right? And he had these tattoos, things that he don't even have, right? And said, he was a gang member. Right. And Terry Moran's like, no, he wasn't, Mr. President. Let's move on. And that's the time he should have said that. No, Mr. Trump, President Trump, these are doctored photos. Now, I don't care what you're saying, your people have come and said these photos are doctored. We have experts that say they are doctored. Is it your standard that you and you alone can tell what is and what isn't doctored and what is a gang member? When your people were pressed to say, what affiliation does he have with a gang? And the first attorney who was credible and all of that stuff and stood up and maintained and said, we honestly, it seems to be a mistake, right? Y'all fired that man or that attorney, right?
Right.
This press is feckless. That's why we are where we are. The press should be holding the Trumps to the fire, right? Why is the Congressional Press Office not doing it? We got CBS capitulating to this man.
And I was just about to say, probably one of the reasons is that he sued CBS. He got money out of them. He sued ABC and George
Stephanopoulos.
Thank you.
Because he confused rape with sexual assault.
Right.
I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knew the context.
I think that's why, like you said, Terry Moran didn't hold his feet to the fire. And then let me just add this out there for people to do. If y'all got time, join Substack. Terry Moran's on there. And believe me, bro.
Is Substack worth it?
Is it worth it? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. Okay. No. I know there are people who charge and stuff like
that. Yeah. People do charge on there now. You know what I'm saying? But follow them, check them out, see what they're talking about. Though, if you can, get those that are free. Right now, at least the times that I slid in there, I got with Terry Moran. So
I didn't know his was free. There are a couple of.
It may be different now.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
The famous economist that served under Clinton, he's on there.
Mm-hmm.
And he always starts talking about stuff. And
Summers?
No, the shorter guy. I can't remember. Robert.
Yeah.
Robert Wright. Is that his name? Robert Wright. I don't. That's not important. But check out Substack, y'all. It's Substack. I would say Business Insider, Huffington Post.
Good one. Huffington Post.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I try to read a little bit of all of them. I consider Daily Mail a conservative, very conservative paper.
Yeah.
Then I'll go to Business Insider. I haven't been satisfied with them a lot lately because they haven't been covering the politics. I mean, they deal with tangential issues, but I think they're a very neutral paper. I used to read The Atlantic before it went so much behind the paywall. And then Huffington Post is liberal, like, you know,
right.
And I think that's important. I think what is going on now and the situation that we are having now is this willful embrace of ignorance, right? This is how we got here, you know, because when I say we have failed to address the legacy and that stain of racism and all of that, there, if you watch TV and History Channel and World War II channels, there is this overwhelming paradigm that white men are the great saviors, right? And even our history, you know. And I know I'm veering off a little bit, but
that's okay, bro.
You know,
come on with it.
I was listening to, I think, Roland Martin, and it was school, and we were talking about the Texas War, the Spanish, when, you know, we went to war with Mexico over Texas and Alamo. And the whole thing was, it was a war of Texas independence. And the question was asked was, and I had never thought about this, independence from who? Who was Texas fighting for independence from? They were fighting from Mexico. Well, why were they fighting from Mexico? Oh, turns out that the president at the time of Mexico, whose name I can't remember, was a Latino African man. As a Latino African man, guess what thing he was against?
Slavery.
Shocking, isn't it? And so he passed rules saying, in Mexican territories,
right,
no slavery. Well, you can guess how Sam Bowie and all of them felt about that at that time.
Yeah.
You know, they were not in favor of it.
Right.
And so it wasn't because they were Mexico had done anything wrong or anything. And so Santa Anna came to power and was seeking to enforce the laws of the land. And because, well, you have slaves in our territory and you're pretty much flying it in our face. So they did what any government would do when people are not doing what they're supposed to do. And, you know, unfortunately, they lost, you know?
Yeah.
And as a result, those things that have, you know, Mexican sounding names became part of the United States, you know? And you wonder, speculate, if California is the 4th largest economy in the world, where would Mexico be right now? But our willful ignorance of this history makes it seem as if manifest destiny was how we were supposed to come to power. And you're blaming Mexicans for coming home.
Yeah, I know. But the thing is too, man, is that the way they set up the history and just how, like, right now they're trying to erase so many different things. Because how long did it take you to find out that information?
Last night.
Yeah, but how long last night? Was it immediately, or did you have to comb it maybe a good 20, 30 minutes?
There's a book, and, you know, I'm giving a very...
Wait a minute. Just like you said, there's a book. The thing is, some of that on about that war and so forth, you don't learn it in school.
Well, that's what Roland Martin's point was, because in Texas, they have to take the Texas Constitution, and, you know, they were saying, like, and what upset Roland Martin was that on the History Channel, you know, how they run that series, the Great, you know, Great American Men, you know, how the West was won. Yeah. You know, and is when you say how the West was won, genocide. I was like, do you know how racist you got to be to hunt down bison, to starve? Like, I'm not gonna kill you directly. I'm gonna kill your food source. Right. Yeah. And I'm gonna give you this thing called alcohol and blankets that will smallpox on it. Right. But we don't learn about that in social studies.
Exactly.
You know, we want to be exalted and all of that. And the problem is, what made America great was our ability to overcome classism, racism, and all of these things. That was what made us. That's what draws people to this idea, the idea of America.
At least getting on the road to making it great, because if you look at it, you still have classism. You still have racism and every other ism that you could think of.
It's the willful ignorance that caused, 56% of the Latinos to vote for Trump.
You ain't lying.
If you don't know that history and you buy into the propaganda that Black people are lazy, that Black people are shiftless, that Black people don't stick together, because America does have a good oral game. We are good at exporting our racism. We are so much so that Hitler sent people over here to study, to understand, like, wait a minute, y'all giving us grief about how we treat the Jews, but have y'all looked at America? Have y'all looked?
Right.
Do y'all see what they doing? How are we any different?
Exactly.
And so he wanted to understand how to replicate that so that Germany could be exalted in that same way. But when you have this willful embrace, like everybody's like, oh, this elite and all of that stuff. Well, let me ask you this. You about to have her surgery. Do you want the regular dude or you want the elite guy?
Yeah, you definitely want the elite guy.
Right.
It is heart surgery.
You want that woke guy, right? Yeah, right. The one that does study.
You said that one word.
Woke? Yeah. We reclaiming that word. So, but when you can fall for the okie doke and concerned about who's going to whose bathroom, never mind, when we in the bathroom, I ain't looking anyway.
Right. I'm taking care of my business.
I'm taking care
of
my
gone.
Business.
There it is.
So you have this willful ignorance. But what gets me is the immediate willful ignorance. When you were driving past your farm to go vote, and you were looking out at your fields and seeing who was out there, and you still voted, I can't protect you from stupid.
There you go.
Yeah. You literally voted against this is your livelihood.
Mm-hmm.
This your livelihood. You know what it takes. You took and borrowed money from the government, knowing this man was coming in and ain't paid a bill in his life.
Right.
And you thought he was going to honor that? You asked me about Epstein. The difference is I can say, if you're on that list, yeah, shame on you. Keep doing what you're doing. Right? Mm-hmm. Just like they do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If if the rule is we get to establish the rules and break them at the same time, yeah, okay, yep. Mm-hmm. We did that with the guy from Minnesota. What was the comedian who we had to run up out of Congress because he had the picture where he was doing like this, and that was so.
I can't think of his name. Lord have mercy.
The guy who was doing like
I know what you're talking.
And we had to run him up out of Congress. Right?
Tim something. I can't remember it.
And
Weiner.
No, Weiner was the guy who was married and he had the stuff on his computer.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that guy. But you need guys like Weiner because he would have been cursing Trump out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but we ran him up out of Congress.
He was a fighter.
Yeah. Right?
Right.
And we run these people up because on our side, you have to be perfect. On their side, they get Marjorie Taylor Greene.
And it's okay.
And Breitbart, whatever her name is. You know what I'm saying? So you get to do that. You get to seek to the least common denominator, right? And we're supposed to be held up here. No. And that's the problem I have. So when you ask me about Epstein, no, let's get down in the mud and dirt with them.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But the crazy thing is all this hypocritical stuff that's coming with it. So it seems like MAGA is breaking apart. They said MAGA is splitting 50-50 with who is for Trump still after all of this Epstein stuff and who is not with them anymore. So if you see all the people that's trying to like make excuses.
They are better than gymnasts, the convolutions that they trying to do.
Yeah. I mean, they're saying stuff like, 16 is not that young and, you know what I mean? And
they actually said that?
Yeah, they're saying all kinds of stuff.
I know. Words for you, Matt Gaetz.
True.
Keep that going.
It's just the fact I didn't hear that one, so it's like, whoa, really?
Keep going. So yeah,
I mean, they're making all kinds of excuses, like the age is not that, and maybe.
What about the children who were in the basement in the pizzeria when Hillary Clinton was running?
Oh yeah, they went crazy on that.
Right. And so that's the problem when you have conspiracies and they're not based on anything, right? Once you feed the mob, you got to keep feeding the mob.
Yeah.
Right. We have agreed to throw democratic norms out the window. I've agreed that this is just wordplay. Right. The problem, should the Democrats embrace it? I don't know if they should embrace it.
I believe they should, but go ahead.
the problem for the Democrats is they don't have a strategy. And I'm of the point, I don't know, do we take on the Republican part where we just start throwing rocks? We just keep throwing rocks. And we got to create a problem and the solution. Now, it can't be the transgenders. You know, they already beat us to that. I get that point
where, you got to create the problem and the solution. But the Republicans never had a strategy.
No, we got to create a solution in search of a problem. One of the, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like they did with the whole transgender thing. Like it really wasn't a problem.
But like you said, the gloves are off. So hey, you took the gloves off. Hey, it's time to tear them a new one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, y'all were all against giving aid and stuff to California when it was burning. Oh, how Florida looking right now? With the drowning and the floods and stuff, all of that.
Right.
You know, but we can't do that because, it's one big conspiracy. FEMA was a conspiracy to take money from someone and all of that stuff. Right. Yeah. How that looking in Texas right now?
I was just about to say, you need them in Texas now.
When y'all sitting there waiting for help, and because of the ineptitude and failure of a signature to roll out the stuff that was necessary. Matter of fact, you fired the people who were responsible for prepping for the floods. And then it gets even better because the people who tell the people that the flood is coming is gone too.
Yeah. Yeah, but you save money. Oh, by the way, where's the money?
It's coming over from Qatar. We're getting the plane. So it's coming over from Qatar. We getting the plane. So, that our president, who will be an ex-president at the time, can fly it.
Speaking of that, the plane that Trump was going in before he got back on Air Force One, guess who owned it before him? Epstein.
Wow. Full circle.
Guess who owned that plane before him? Epstein.
And
you're wondering why they don't want to release things. Now,
I mean, I knew when they came in, they were never going to release it.
Of course.
I knew they were. But first of all, when you're in those type of circles, right?
Yes.
It appears to me that Epstein was some type of connector, right? Like he facilitate. That's how. Let's take a break from there. The whole idea behind affirmative action was that people were locked out of certain people because we associate with certain people. Like, we say black on black crime. Well, fact is, in our country, black people live next to black people, right?
There you go.
Y'all just got lucky with we don't call it white on white crime, right? So, job opportunities. What do we always say? It's not about what you know, it's about who you know, right? What you are looking at on Epstein is that on steroids. Bill Gates, Bill Clinton, athletes, stars, they operate in a world that we don't even understand, right? It's about connections. It's about investments. And these deals happen on planes and golf courses, right? And he happened to be, I don't know how he got his money or whatever, but he happened to be a connector, right? He knew people who could get you done and get you done. As a connector and as a politician, I need Bill Gates' money. I don't know Bill Gates, right?
Right.
But my man who contributed to me, who has access to me because he contributed to my campaign, does have access to me. And so he'll say, hey, Tim, I know Rich, why don't I'll arrange a meeting, you come on my plane and all of that stuff. And, I'll have drinks and refreshments and entertainment, and you sometimes have to take dirty money to stay good. You know what I'm saying? It's the nature of the beast when we don't have public funds for politicians, right? So you have to engage in this.
So you would think they're at least savvy enough to have known that there would be hidden cameras, though. You know what I mean? If the guy has a reputation, just like Puff Daddy parties, right?
Right.
You would think that people of that level, when it comes to money and power, that they would know that they're susceptible to getting set up.
That's true.
I think you're always on guard, but no matter how much on guard you are, there will come a point where you just, unless you're absolutely trained in it, you got to remember the politicians' purpose in meeting or in this meeting is to get money for the campaign and to get money for the RNC, DNC. And regardless, even here on this show, we have to be kind of, there'll come a point when you're so, your guard just happens. I mean, you can't maintain rigidity, and you can get lured into,
you letting down your guard eventually. I get what you're saying.
Your drinks, right. Drinks are fun, and, I mean, we are all seen enough TV where, the black politician is blackmailed because of blah, 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 and
of course.
But when you're in that world and, that may be something you just don't think about. You know what I'm saying?
Apparently.
I mean, our president went over to Russia and apparently they have pictures of him. So, so these are things, unless you, and as the world is getting bigger and we're seeking points of leverage, it may not even be you setting me up. It may be the country that got something on you to try to get you to do something to betray me.
That's true. Everything can come around in that type of a circle. Right. No, I agree with you.
And so I trust you fully, you know what I'm saying? But you're being manipulated. You're being leveraged.
And he laid against the wall with no choice.
Right.
So, right.
Never underestimate what people will do to stop their secrets from coming out. We're all susceptible to leverage, family, friends, money, internet, secret. We're all, we're humans. The problem is in America is we all expect everybody to be a nun. If I hear, like, yo, I like to wear panties when, everybody wants to judge. And it's like, well, why you care? Like, if that brings that person joy, you know what? So what? And if we could get to that point, people would lose leverage. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, a lot of leverage. A lot of leverage.
I mean, and people have proclivities. Remember the whole Shannon Sharp thing and his dialogue and stuff like that. Well, I mean, is it appropriate for, conversation in church? No.
Right.
But he in the sanctity of his bedroom. And if that's what gives him his jollies and her jollies, and it ain't me, but
that's your business.
That's your business.
I get it. I get it.
We always say live and let live until it offends me.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it.
If I always say never yuck someone's yum.
Yeah, I understand.
If it doesn't involve the hurting of someone, and some people are into that, but as long as it don't involve children, or people
which that's what this has done.
Right.
So you got to look at it on that level too. Now it got to that point where you're attacking the innocence of children,
and that's fine. But I can actually say that's disgusting.
Yeah.
Now,
exactly. But of course, we all know some of them in those circles don't feel that way.
And I'll offer a caveat. Come on. And my caveat is this. Are we talking 14, 15, 16s who with makeup appear?
But the thing is,
and I get intent. Intent does not matter in the strict. It is a strict crime. It is a strict crime, right?
Yeah.
Like I thought she was 22, 23, whatever. I get that. Like I get that. That's the law.
Right.
But we all know.
Mm-hmm.
All know. Like, yo, what?
Right.
We've all seen it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
I get it.
If you look 12, 13, 14, oh yeah, you got all you got coming to you. You know what I'm saying? But if they, if they 5'10" with makeup and look like cover girl.
But the thing is, like I do, that we were either taught directly or indirectly that once you get to that certain point in that certain age, it's like, okay, bruh, you need to find out about that girl.
You
know what I mean?
Yeah, we were 50 years old It don't matter.
No,
it don't matter.
But what I'm saying is, but this is a steward. The way I'm envisioning it, I don't know if these were just girls, and there may have been some natural conclusions, like, yo, we're at a party that's serving alcohol. My natural assumption, I don't know these girls. I don't know them. They're at the event that I'm at. You know, they strike up a conversation. You know, I know technically I'm not, the bee's knees to a 21-year-old, but my ego, male pride,
I get all that.
Don't necessarily, but I'm talking to this conversationalist. Now, if I gotta ask the question, name Scooby-Doo's 3 best friends, and she's like, who's Scooby-Doo? Well, now I know I got a problem. If you can't say, what was Fred Flintstone's catchphrase, and you're like, who's Fred Flintstone? I know I need to say in this conversation, right?
Time to tell her to move on.
Time to tell her move on, right?
Right.
But we had a Schwindig as a party, and I strike up this conversation with this, person, and I see a drink in their hand, and I'm drinking. It is, again, I understand, strict compliance with the law. I understand that, right? I understand that. If they don't convey to me that there's somehow some kind of trouble, or we're at a party or a Schwindig, now if they bringing them to the hotel room and then dropping them off, oh yeah, you need to go under the jail. All right. But I'm envisioning in these types of things, we're at a gathering, she's on a plane, they're drinking, they're giving out alcohol, you know what I'm saying? Like the contextual clues would lead me to believe that this person is of age, right? Context sometimes does matter.
Now, what's getting me, and it's what Rich said earlier in the show, that Mar-a-Lago was in proximity to this very poor neighborhood. That really pissed me off, because they know what kind of influence and those people in that neighborhood need the jobs, and they're taking advantage of that.
Well, I'm thinking about the ladies, and I don't think the ladies, I thought the young females at the time who are now grown, I don't think they were from that neighborhood though. I don't know where these women, now I'm at it because I'm not sure what's her name? Maxine?
Yeah.
Maxine.
Gazelle, Maxwell, something like that.
There. Yeah. Her role, I mean, she seemed to be in charge of recruitment and all of that stuff, and luring these females into it. How much that plays into it, Now she can testify as to what people knew or should have known, and I would be interested in hearing that, but I'm pretty sure we're not going to hear that now after my man said, oh, I could pardon her.
I wouldn't believe what she said, because now she has an incentive to leave his name out of any list that she might have.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Not only will I not believe her, now that you've put out, why would she talk?
Right. At least about him.
I don't think she's going to talk, period. Now that he's floated the idea of the pardon.
I mean, if they want her to drop names, I believe that she would drop some names.
But what is her incentive to drop names?
Let me bring this out to both of y'all just as well, because I just found this out today. All right. Chuck Schumer is it's an old law. All right. It's an old rule in the rule book called the Rule of 5 law, which he can use that to force Pam Bondi and the Justice Department to release, I think it's the
tapes.
Yeah, right. Well, a lot of documents within that law. Okay. And it only takes 5 members of the Senate Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committee to do it.
Okay. Who's in charge of the Senate right now?
But I'm just saying.
No, sir.
I'm just saying. Hold on.
Who's in charge of the Senate?
Yeah, right now? I know this. But what I'm saying is, though, if they can get that through, especially it takes 5. Five members. They can all
be. No way in the world Chuck Schumer is going to do anything.
Well, this the same man.
That's what he's trying.
In charge or Republicans in charge. He's not
breaking it down for you. That's all.
He might say he want to do that, but there's no way.
Oh no, he filed official papers
today. He can find a lot of stuff, but he's not doing nothing.
Who in charge of the committee?
Hey.
Okay.
Hey, it is what it is. I'm just telling you what's there.
This is the main reason why the Democratic Party's numbers are so low.
Exactly.
Because they know he's not going. He could say he found the.
I could do anything and make it look like I'm doing something when I'm not in power.
He's not going to do it.
Of course. I'm going to take a baby hand and just slap Tim and be like, yeah, see, I hurt Tim. You know,
I hear you.
You know, so I don't. Should they embrace it? I don't. I know what they should do is come up with some kind of strategy to win, because this whole, you know, I don't. What, as we sit here, what's their strategy? What's the y'all couldn't win Florida when this man was cutting Medicare and Medicaid. Now y'all gonna talk about, oh well, we came in within 8 points. That's called a loss, dog. Like you just like,
right. 1 point is a loss.
Well, 1 point is a loss. It's a point. Like y'all are losing when this man is cutting Medicare and Medicaid in Florida.
That's why, just like you said, they got to take the gloves off and do just like the Republicans have. What strategy did they have besides protect each other? What else?
No, they created a problem that did not. They created a solution that did not have a problem, and that's what we got to figure out. What's the solution to a problem that we don't even know we had? Because it's not. People don't care now. Like it's. If you can win in Florida when this man is cutting Medicare and Medicaid, I don't know what hope we got. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But again, I come back to this. Even when the Democrats are in power, they knew this was coming and did nothing.
Did nothing, yep.
Nothing. Garland, dude, you've been in office, what, 4 years?
Yeah.
Four,
I agree with you on that.
And you did nothing. The Congress did have to work for you.
Right.
Have to work. 3/4 of the work.
Right. I agree now on that.
And the bad thing is the Democrats' idea of winning is going right back to like 3 years ago, 4 years ago. But that's their idea of winning.
No, I agree with you. And what it has to be now, you have a new group of Democrats trying to come in. You know what I mean?
Oh, I agree.
Like a buddy out of New
York, the Socialist Democrat.
Yeah,
and this is it scares
he needs to be embraced.
And they're pushing him away.
Right. And there are others
like they did AOC.
That they're coming. They need to be embraced.
They pushed away AOC, you know, but you see in the kind of crowd she's drawing.
Right.
You see the kind of crowds that Bernie is drawing.
Right.
You know, they should have been embraced AOC and the Party of Five and all of them.
Yeah.
And what's my girl from Texas?
Jasmine Crockett.
Yeah, like Jasmine Crockett. You know, we need these people out here. And what I would like to see the young guy from Tennessee, the youngest representative from Tennessee,
Justin. I don't remember.
I think, but
Justin.
We need to get him out there. We need the governor from Maryland out there.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not sure about the governor of California right now. I'm just not. I don't know if he can win. I would like to see Pritzker out there more. He's talking fire. You know what I'm saying? Like people are desperate for someone who will fight for them. And that's what the allure of Trump was.
Right.
They thought he was fighting. And I always said the axe won when it convinced the trees that because of his wood handle, it was one of them.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
How this man won is an anathema to me. All right? But I get it. When people are hurting fiscally,
won off sheer ignorance.
No, I don't want to portray the other side as ignorant. All right.
I'm waiting. Now, come on now. I'm waiting on that one.
Recall about 3 or 4 shows ago, you know, I said we're going to have to get beyond the point of I told you so. All right. I'm not saying I'm fully at that branch yet. I still take certain pleasure in the tears of, oh, I regret my vote and now my dad is being, you know, kicked out the country.
Mm-hmm.
But there must come a healing point. Right?
I agree with you with that.
Where we have to recognize that the transgressions of the past, we got to move beyond that.
Right. And just to Tim's point, we can't go back to the same old.
Yeah,
just like he was talking about.
If they just did sort of take a rule book from Donald Trump and said, you know what? If I become president, this is what I'm going to do on day one.
Right. On day one, there will be 13 Supreme Court justices.
Exactly. And day two, we're going to do this.
Right.
Day 3, we're going to do this. Day 4, and that's what we're going to do.
Right.
Whatever I have to do.
Stupid.
Whatever I have to do.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And I haven't heard any other politician say that.
Right. I think if you come in and say, yeah, day one, I'm increasing the size of the Supreme Court. By the end of the week, we're going to have 5 new people up for, one going to be 2 of them going to be from California, 3, the other 2 going to be from New York, and we're going to get 1 from Illinois. That would scare the bejesus.
Yeah,
that's true.
I
agree with you.
At the minimum, we're going to have public health care at the minimum.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. With a
public option,
right?
You're thinking like a socialist, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. We're going to roll back the tax cuts to the rich.
Yep.
And we're going to use those dividends, to put money back in the middle class.
Mm-hmm.
So that I got to wait till the second week they'll do that, but we're going to do that.
State college, free.
No, community college.
Community college free.
Mm-hmm.
And state college highly discounted.
Yep.
Highly discounted. If you go to the college in your state, highly discounted.
Yeah. The second week, we're going to pass the John Lewis Civil Rights Act. We're going to do it.
I'm with it.
And the Voting Rights Act.
And the Voting Rights.
It's going to be the Voting Rights Act of 2028. Yeah.
That person will get elected.
That's going to get elected. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Just hearing you two right now, are y'all going to run? President, vice president?
What's up? What was the name of the book the Republicans came out? Project 2020 what? 2025?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, I'm coming up with
Project 2028?
No, I'm calling it the rule book for America moving forward.
All right.
All right. Make America less racist again. Or no, let's put it in the negative.
I could be your campaign manager.
No, let's put it in the positive. Make America kind-hearted again.
I like it.
You know what I'm saying?
I like it a lot.
And what we're going to do, we're going to work with our European partners to restore the balance. We're going to restore the balance. All right. My farmers, I'm gonna talk to my people in China and see if we could get them to come back to buying our soybeans.
Oh, you really about to scare them now?
I'm gonna see if they could come back and buy our soybeans. We might have to cut some deals. I'm gonna make some deals with them. I'm gonna make some deals. Mm-hmm. I got a concept of a plan of what I'm gonna tell them. All right. I'm gonna talk to the Chinese. Me and the Chinese go back way back when. I used the abacus back in kindergarten. So we like that, with them. You know what I'm saying?
There's plenty of good ideas out there. They just not using them.
Yeah, so
that's true.
At this point, what do we care about alternative facts?
I say go for it.
Because all
I mean, they've done it.
I'm gonna run the economy into the ground anyway.
They've done it forever.
Right.
So I guess it's the damn time.
It's right. So I'm gonna have a gas holiday tax. Especially during the summer, so y'all can go travel and do what y'all want to do.
Everybody going to preschool.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah,
free school lunches.
We're gonna claw that money back that Brett Favre took to build his gymnasium. I'm gonna claw that back.
66 million,
something like that. I'm gonna claw that back. I'm gonna crawl that back.
Because they love giving numbers out, so we might as well do it too.
So we're gonna have a national standard for determining when people do qualify for food stamps. We're not gonna give that to the states anymore because some of these states have such onerous standards that nobody gets it, and they take that money and give it to people like him so that they can go build gymnasiums.
Right.
No, we're not gonna do that anymore.
Right.
We're gonna set a national standard. And they can only exceed what we set as the base of the national standard.
Okay.
We're gonna have elections be a federal holiday. That's gonna be part of the Make America Kind-Hearted again.
Oh yeah, and they could give water
and hot dogs. Water and hot dogs ain't nothing more. Water, hot dog, and apple pie.
There you go.
So these are the kind of things but we need a strategy.
Right.
We have to somehow embrace who we are. We are a party that is welcome to all.
Right.
But we also have to establish And when you are welcoming to all, you have to have boundaries, to maintain and all of this stuff. And then we also got to speak to our brethren of non-color and say, you recognize there's not enough of you all to continue to compete in this world economy, because it is a world economy. Yes. And as much as we hate it, we have to compete in a world economy. The rest of the world has not only caught up with us,
they
have surpassed.
Yes.
We have allowed our politicians to send those jobs away that were solidly middle class. We have allowed them to rob us and give money to the corporations. This is worse than the Gilded Age when the Vanderbilts and JP Morgans, right? Mm-hmm. This is worse, right? We are a consumer society. That our economy thrives on us buying. We manufacture nothing, right? If we had to go, the one thing about World War II, what was that one thing that allowed us to beat Japan, Germany, and Italy? We can outbuild. When Germany was turning out one tank a month,
we turned out like 100.
Man,
so
the Jeep,
I know.
The tank,
I know.
The ships,
right?
All of that. If we had to do that to this day,
wasn't gonna happen.
We have to wait for our chips to come over from China,
right?
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
We have to wait for our oil to come down from Canada,
right?
The people that are real happy with us right now. We have to find people to work in the sun because we ain't used to it, but we're kicking them all out. Some of the hardest workers, right. What I'm saying? Not to mention, if this one called for a declaration, or I think half the country be like, ha ha. Agreed. And I'm not going to Canada.
Right.
I'm staying right here. Come get me.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole purpose behind this is, what is the strategy? We don't have a leader. I know we got, Jeffrey's, but who is that person that is speaking?
Who's going to really stick their neck out? Yeah. Right. Because, you don't have many that, they'll speak a little bit, but they're not going to stick their neck out all the way. And somebody has to.
And somebody say, if AOC run, it's going to be a losing thing. Well, we know what hasn't won. So why don't we try something new?
Right.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
The consultants,
so,
start getting to them and don't say.
Please get some newer consultants.
Yeah.
Some people who have new ideas, new strategies, new innovations. Somebody who can embrace this technology. Somebody who can't be asking, well, what is the Twitter? Or the X.
Right. Exactly. So no doubt. But we are running against time. So any last words, gentlemen?
Go ahead. I'm thinking.
Well, I like the part of the show when we gave out a lot of suggestions. I hope the Democratic leadership takes some of those suggestions that we put out there, because that's what the people want. They always say, the people want this, the people want that. But I think that we threw out some good stuff. So if you want it, you can take for free.
True. You're not trademarking it?
No, I'm not trademarking none of that stuff.
A couple of weeks ago on this show, I talked about let them continue to feel the pain. And continue to feel the pain. Pain, as much as we hate it, is a great teacher, right? You learn more from pain than you do from victory. Maybe, just maybe, we're at that point now where these ideas that we were talking about can be embraced. Because the argument has always been we are a center to right country. And I don't think that's true. I didn't even think that was ever true. Americans generally like to take care of other Americans. We do that. We saw that with 9/11 when, these disasters happened and things like that. Prior to, current our generation, we rallied as a country and, worked together to save each other. A couple of years ago, when Obama was in office, remember when New Jersey and New York and all of them got flooded? Nobody would have even formulated the idea that we're not going to send money to another state. Remember how my man from Texas he was the only outlier and he got ran through, for even suggesting that we don't send money, to this stuff. We have somehow allowed this tribalism to separate us from who we are. You know what I'm saying? We have always been a people united by the idea that our brace of freedoms and a hard work ethic will allow you to reach your fullest potential. We have allowed that idea to become infected by simpletons, charlatans, and those who see equality as somehow a disadvantage, right? Because we know that when things are equal, you know, when you've been in a superior position somehow so long, that somehow that seems unfair, right? But when we fully embrace those ideas and we look at the history of this people in this country and the contributions of everybody, we are the better for it. And if we can get back to that point or embrace it, we will be better as a country.
Well said, well said. Now, my little 2 cents with this, everybody, I hope y'all listen to what both of these gentlemen have said, because like you talked about, Tim, we need to embrace these newer voices. All right. And without embracing these newer voices, we don't need to go back to the same old, same old. And you said it too as well. And that's the thing, people. We don't need to go back to it. So people, please, when it comes to election time, which is starting up a new cycle in what?
We should be coming up on it because we're starting to run for the midterms.
Right. Mm-hmm. Everybody, don't just vote with your emotions. No,
what you hate.
No, don't do that. Read up on every soul that is running a race. See who is really for you. All right. And let's do that. We will all get to the right people if we do just that small thing. Let's actually study and understand who is running the race. All right. And even if you got to vote for the little guy that is not a big time Republican or Democrat, vote for him. Let's make this change. All right. This is Elevated Vibez. We will catch y'all next week.
Peace.